TV soap news and spoilers today. We're here to talk about an exciting and emotionally charged episode of Days of Our Lives that aired on October 9th. If you missed today's episode, don't worry, we've got all the juicy details ready for you. Be prepared for a roller coaster of drama, betrayal, and shocking revelations, because today's episode did not disappoint. The episode kicked off with Kristen once again plotting her next move, and this time she's dragging Xander into her web of manipulation. Kristen paid Xander a visit with some tantalizing information. She told him about Dr. Rolf's miracle serum, the one that could potentially bring Sarah back to her senses after the mysterious illness that left her confused and distant. Kristen dangled this life-changing solution in front of Xander, knowing it was exactly what he wanted to hear. Xander, of course, was intrigued. Sarah had been suffering for so long, and Xander's guilt over not being able to help her weighed heavily on his shoulders. Kristen presented him with a choice: use Rolf's serum to save Sarah, but only if he could help her free Brady from his current predicament. Kristen, always playing the long game, had ulterior motives. She needed Brady out of the way for her own plans, and she was more than willing to use Sarah's well-being as a bargaining chip to get what she wanted. Xander wrestled with this moral dilemma, but ultimately decided to tell Sarah about Kristen's suggestion. In a tense and emotional conversation, Xander explained that there might be a way to help her, but it would come at a cost. Sarah would have to backtrack on some of the things she recently said to Brady. Sarah, already overwhelmed by her illness and the emotional fallout of her relationship with Xander, was torn. Could she really go through with this? But as with all things in Salem, nothing is ever simple. While Xander and Sarah were grappling with Kristen's offer, E.J. had his own plans in motion. E.J., who had been pulling the strings behind the scenes, wasn't about to let Brady walk free so easily. His reasons were rooted in personal vendettas and a desire to maintain control over the situation. Even if Sarah agreed to help, E.J.'s schemes would ensure that freeing Brady wasn't as straightforward as it seemed. E.J.'s calculated moves to keep Brady entangled in his web added another layer of tension to the story. While Xander hoped that Kristen's plan would be the solution to all their problems, E.J. was lurking in the shadows, ready to throw a wrench into the works. What would Xander do once he realized that E.J. wasn't going to make things easy? And how would Sarah handle the pressure of making a deal with Kristen, only to find out that it might all be for nothing? Meanwhile, Fiona faced her own emotional turmoil. For days, she had been wrestling with the guilt of her involvement in Sarah's tragic accident. The weight of this secret had been crushing her, but today she resolved to come clean to Brady about what really happened that fateful night. Fiona gathered her courage, ready to confess that she had been the hit-and-run driver responsible for Sarah's injuries. It was a decision that had been tearing her apart inside. However, when the moment came, Fiona hesitated. Face to face with Brady, who was still grieving and searching for answers, Fiona's fear got the better of her. She faltered, unable to bring herself to admit the truth. In a heartbreaking twist, Fiona chose to remain silent about her role in the accident, keeping Brady in the dark for now. The tension was palpable. How much longer can she keep this secret? Will her guilt eventually consume her, or will she find a way to justify her silence? Elsewhere in Salem, Eric Brady was on a mission of his own, seeking closure and answers. Eric had been haunted by the baby swap incident, and today he turned to Melinda for information about her role in the ordeal. Eric was desperate to understand what had really happened and why his family had been torn apart by the deception. Melinda, known for her sharp wit and unapologetic attitude, listened as Eric confronted her. While she might have felt a twinge of sympathy for the pain Eric had endured, she wasn't about to take full responsibility. In typical Melinda fashion, she deflected most of the blame onto Sloane, painting herself as someone who was just following orders. She acted like everything had worked out for the best in the end, but her cold demeanor only further angered Eric. It was clear that Melinda wasn't about to offer Eric the answers or the closure he was seeking. As their confrontation escalated, it became evident that Eric would have to find his own path to healing, but the encounter left him even more determined to get justice for his family. Stefan's confession to E.J. And finally, the episode brought us a somber moment between brothers, as Stefan confided in EJ about the breakdown of his marriage. Sitting together in the Demera mansion, Stefan opened up about the pain and regret he felt over his failed relationship. EJ, ever the stoic older brother, listened intently as Stefan poured out his heart. Stefan revealed how his marriage had crumbled under the weight of lies, betrayals, and misunderstandings. He spoke of missed opportunities and the emotional scars that would take a long time to heal. Though Stefan tried to maintain his usual bravado, it was clear that he was deeply hurt by the loss of his marriage. EJ, while sympathetic, offered little comfort. Instead, he reminded Stefan that in their world, love is often a fleeting and dangerous thing, more likely to cause pain than happiness. As Stefan and EJ's conversation unfolded, the emotional gravity of the moment hung in the air. Could Stefan find a way to rebuild his life after such a devastating loss? And would his relationship with EJ change as a result of this vulnerable confession? Today's episode was filled with heart-wrenching moments, shocking revelations, and the kind of high-stakes drama that only Days of Our Lives can deliver. From Kristen's manipulative schemes and Xander's difficult choices, to Fiona's guilty conscience and Eric's search for justice, this episode had it all. The emotional depth and tension left viewers on the edge of their seats, wondering what will happen next. Our TV channel Soap News and Spoilers is the place for those who want to know how the Salem story goes, as well as great Days of Our Lives updates and news, so subscribe to our channel to get what you want. Bye-bye.